session to a close. I know there were parliamentarians that had questions as well, but maybe tomorrow on with the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Trade you'll be able to ask more questions. So on behalf of the Interparliamentary Conference, I want to thank the High Representative for her contribution, and I wish her well in her contributing work, and we look forward to building on the good relationship that has been established between us in the years ahead with this conference. Thank you very much indeed. A safe journey back tonight, High Representative. Okay, Sean. So we're now back in public session as the Chairman of the Justice and Defence Committee escorts High Representative to her car. I think she has a flight around 7:30, so it's going to be a quick dash to Dublin Airport. Okay, I know you're all getting tired, but we have two proposals here which we need to deal with, and hopefully we'll get through them as quickly as possible. We'll now proceed with those proposals. If I could have some cooperation, please. Thank you. So the first proposal to be considered is the proposal for the Irish Presidency to appoint an ad hoc review committee of the Interparliamentary Conference. You will recall that in Paphos last September, the incoming Irish Presidency was asked to submit to this conference a proposal on the composition of an ad hoc review committee. We prepared our proposal in consultation with the Troika Parliaments and the European Parliament, and I'm sure you've all considered these very carefully here. In preparing our proposal, the Irish Presidency was conscious of a number of important factors. We're conscious of the need of the ad hoc review committee to complete its work in accordance with the 18-month time limit set in the Article 9 of the Rules of Procedure, and in accordance with the intention of the Conference of Speakers to review arrangements for this conference within 2 years of the first meeting. So we needed to propose a mechanism that ensured that the work of the review process could be carried out effectively, but it also is essential that to ensure that all participants have an opportunity to contribute their views in an appropriate way at an early stage to be fully involved in the final decisions of the ad hoc review committee. Finally, in addition to the duty to evaluate the workings of the conference generally, the proposal had to include within the review process the amendments that were submitted by some national parliaments at Paphos, but not taken on board at the time. I will not go through these in detail, the proposal and the proposals which have been outlined to you. I'm sure you've already been familiar with it. However, I believe that the proposal that we have put forward strikes an appropriate balance, and that balance is important between all of the considerations. I wish to propose to the conference that the proposal be adopted, but I will, of course, hear first of all your views, because your views as parliamentarians are extremely important. So if you wish to speak on the ad hoc proposals, if you may wish to raise your hand and just put your the plaque of your country in front of you so that I know who is wishing to contribute. We have about 30 minutes here to deal with this proposal, so if anybody wishes to speak, would they raise their hands and their name or their country name immediately.
What you could mention is the alternative.
Okay, if there's anybody's interested. We dealt with this today at the heads of delegations meeting, and I think most of the heads of delegation were in broad agreement about the Irish proposals. But if there are people with concerns or wish to raise any issue, I'd be delighted to hear them what they have to say. If not, we'll move on to the next issue. But the document has been circulated to all members. We tried to be as inclusive as possible. In other words, what we wanted to do was to include the a leader from each of the 28 countries plus a member of the European Parliament. Now, my Italian colleague wishes to speak on this.
Chairman, may we agree that the...
Sorry, could I have your cooperation, please? My Italian colleague is speaking here.
Chairman, may we agree that discussion that has been held this afternoon has been endorsed by the Presidency?
Would you outline the proposal
about the trio
parliamentarians, if you don't mind? Okay? That's on the ad hoc committee.
The issue was about the Trio Plus, so involving the Italian Presidency in the second semester of 2014, as you remember. And there was a consensus on the head of delegation meeting. So may I assume that the proposal has been endorsed by the Presidency and is included in the new redrafting?
Okay, for the benefit of the parliamentarians present, what was agreed at that heads of delegation meeting, I'll read it out for the meeting here this afternoon, because I think it's important that all of you here present are involved in this, because this is what inclusiveness is all about. This is why we want to put a representative of every delegation on that ad hoc committee. So this which was agreed. I propose that we amend the proposal to include Italy in the working group and in the group of countries that will cooperate closely with the presidency in presiding over the ad hoc review committee. The amendment will be that the proposal will be in the proposal as adopted, which will be appended to the draft conclusions. Is that agreed? Because Italy will be part of the Troika at the time. If that's agreed, then we'll proceed with that. So is the proposal as amended agreed by all? It is? Okay, or my German colleague wishes to speak here, okay?
Also ich muss noch mal meine Anmerkung.
Once again, I have to reiterate my comments, my criticism from yesterday. Germany cannot understand why Cyprus, who will no longer belong to the Troika at that time, will be part of the group. We feel that this is not necessarily or justified.
It's in your notes.
Well, the question of Cyprus being included here is because of Ireland had proposed the establishment of the process that Lithuania and Greece are responsible for managing it. Therefore, I think we believe ourselves that it's to provide continuity in driving the process forward, and this is what it's all about. The experience of Cyprus, who were the first to start off this process, and to be fair to Cyprus, they did a very good job. And now Ireland had hosted the conference. I believe their experience is very valuable. It is important to note that the national parliaments of all member states may, at their own initiative, submit observations to the working group as well. That's why we included Cyprus in it, because the first meeting, it was initiated in Cyprus, and you know, we believe that Cyprus should be part of that. Are there any other members wishing to contribute here? So is the proposal as amended agreed, or my colleague from Austria?
Ja, eigentlich, ich verstehe die Sorgen der Kollegen aus
Actually,
Deutschland schon.
I do understand the point made by my colleague from Germany. We have this principle of the Troika. No one is calling into question the services and the help of Cyprus. And certainly I think the spirit of this process is there. But the fact that the first conference took place in Cyprus, I think, cannot justify their continued presence in the group. That would be a strange principle. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else wishing to contribute? Okay, down there, it's the Greek delegation. Thank you.
Hello, I would like to support the proposition from the presidency. I completely agree with you that since it's an initiative that has started from Cyprus, Cyprus should be included in the Troika meetings, and as due to the meetings in Brussels, there is no delegation of Cyprus here at the moment, so it would be a very good proposition to actually discuss it in Lithuania.
Okay, okay, my friend from the European Parliament.
Belgium.
Thank you. I would also like to support the original proposal. We should not forget that this ad hoc review committee concerns to wrap up the amendments. We haven't been able to do so in Paphos. It's not a permanent committee. So the presence of Cyprus, as well as of the other three countries, won't be permanent. When the discussion about the amendments is wrapped up, and it will not take long, I hope, it's finished. So let's put it in the right perspective. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. My colleague from Belgium.
I think what's just been said is important. This ad hoc committee and the working group are temporary. The idea that Cyprus was of great help are a bit weak in the sense that if you could say that the Conference of Presidencies started with Belgium and then was picked up by Poland. But I can assure you Poland doesn't feel any need to remain in that little group. It is, in any case, it's an ad hoc group which is temporary, and I think we should really stress the temporary nature of it.
I think that's important that we do stress that it is only a temporary ad hoc committee. My colleague from the UK.
Yes, Bill Cash, Chairman of the European Scrutiny Committee in the House of Commons. I would just simply like to say that the whole of our delegation from both houses are in complete agreement that Cyprus should stay for all the reasons that you gave at the beginning, and we think that that is a matter of importance. Cyprus may be having certain difficulties at the moment, but they participated extremely well in the previous presidency, and that's our unanimous view.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Anybody else wishing to contribute here before I make a final comment? If not, I believe myself there is a general consensus that Cyprus should be on this temporary, and I've stressed this temporary ad hoc committee. Is there a broad agreement? Okay. Okay. So is the proposal as amended with the inclusion of our colleagues from Italy agreed here this afternoon? Agreed. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, we'll now proceed to the last item item this evening of business this evening at this conference. Before we go for some recreation and some food, I think which you all deserve, and that's the proposal by the House of Representatives of the Republic of Cyprus on a fact-finding mission regarding the southern and the eastern Mediterranean neighbourhood. And again, regretfully, the Cyprus delegation had to withdraw from the conference because of their domestic circumstances, and they sincerely, and I mean that, send their apologies here. They were really looking forward to coming to Ireland, and we all got such great hospitality in Shannon. But I know you will appreciate that due to their pressing domestic matters, that requires their full attention in Nicosia. Arising from the conclusions, delegates from the Papas Conference, the House of Representatives of the Republic of Cyprus submitted a proposal on a fact-finding mission regarding the southern and eastern Mediterranean neighbourhood. That proposal has been circulated to all the delegates here this afternoon. I'm sure you've seen a copy of Mr. Averoff's speech, which he was supposed to make here today. In their absence, I wish to commend our colleagues from Cyprus, and in particular the head of delegation, Mr. Averoff, for their incentive in seeking through their proposal to contribute to the development of this conference, because that's what it's all about. It's contributing to the development of this conference, like the meetings that we have tomorrow, the workshops we have tomorrow. And it's through this proposal, I think that's extremely important that we can develop the conference. So I believe that their proposal does merit consideration, and you've got the presentation that was circulated. So I hope that some members wish to contribute here. And so if you put your hands up again, I'm sure there are many members that want to contribute. So anybody want to comment on Mr. Averoff's proposal? I'll take my good friend from the European Parliament, the Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Mr. Brock, here wishes to contribute here to this.
Ja, Vorsitzender, wir hatten ja
we have already had an intensive discussion on this when we had the heads of delegations meeting. And I think there was consensus on the basis of your proposal that this is something which should be discussed with our Cypriot colleagues for our September meeting. But there was also a general view, I think, that there should be no specific mission or remit in the context of this conference. It would also be difficult to check when it comes to implementation. It's up to, let's say, one parliament to issue invitations. But in the context of this, our conference, this would be difficult to implement and carry out controls on. And this, I think, is something which we could discuss with our Cypriot colleagues and perhaps continue our discussions in September. I don't think it's a good idea to continuously set up new groups and missions. I think many have already made the point that we should make much better use of the experience and knowledge of the European Parliament, for example, who has a lot of experience in these kind of missions and have various common positions. So I think we could perhaps draw on their experience and expertise, which would increase effectiveness. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Brock. Are there other parliamentarians that wish to contribute to this topic? Okay, my colleague from the Belgium Parliament.
I think we were clear earlier on. I wanted to point out that this idea of this control committee, an investigative committee for these countries, I think this is disturbing by its very nature. What we need to do, first of all, is ensure that they are prepared to accept these missions. And then on the 6th and 7th of April in Marseille, there's going to be a Euromed meeting. And I think that would be the occasion to see whether or not our colleagues would be prepared to accept this kind of thing or not. It's entirely possible, as part of our national missions and a part of the European Parliament missions. Let's avoid multiplying these kind of missions. It's already sufficiently complex without yet again creating more work, which won't be done well because we're just getting started on this.
Thank you very much indeed. Anybody else wish to contribute to this proposal? Okay, Deputy Bernard Durkin from the Irish delegation.
Yeah, Chairman, I think the proposal has some merit. I think that in the climate in which we live, I think it is important that we would be conscious at all times of the need to engage with our neighbours, whether it be to the east or the south, because of the changing climate economically and politically in which we live. I think it could be constructive, notwithstanding what my friend Elmer Brock has just said. I think it would be helpful if we could encourage from within the European Union an interest in what is happening alongside of us, with a view to using the experience and also identifying issues before they occur.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Durkin, and my colleague from the Netherlands.
Thank you very much, Chair. As discussed with the head of delegations, I would very much support Mr. Brock in what he's just mentioned. That's all. Just support. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else? If not, somebody at the back. Oh, sorry, yes, down at the back. I'm not sure which delegation you're from.
Yeah, Robin Tevison from House of Lords in the UK. Certainly, our feeling on this is very much around the Elmer Brock and others, in that national parliaments as well as the European Parliament do delegations very well themselves. I think the most important thing that this group can start to do is to share its own experiences that it has as national parliaments and the European Parliament amongst ourselves, whether through a website or however we do it in terms of sharing reports and actually building up relationships with each other, rather than sending a very small number of us on a foreign mission and then coming back. I think we have a lot more to gain by actually having a more coherent group here, perhaps being able to communicate between meetings rather than a very few, and those parliaments that can afford it, and there will be a number that can't, so this will be an exclusive initiative, and so I think it's much better to look in other ways to build up the reputation and the use of this particular conference. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Is there somebody else in the UK delegation that wishes to speak there? No? If not, I'll wrap up the debate, and I think we've heard all your comments and here this evening, and certainly I think very valuable comments, and comments I think that we need to take on board from all those who contributed. So I propose that the comments of the delegates be communicated by the Irish Presidency to the Cyprus Parliament. Cyprus Parliament will then have an opportunity to consider all the comments raised here this afternoon, and consider those comments and perhaps redefine them, their proposal, before the conference in Lithuania. So I propose that the conference note the proposal from Cyprus, agree that a discussion on it or a revised proposal should resume at the conference in Lithuania. Is that agreed by all participating parliamentarians this evening at this conference? Okay, if it's agreed, then that issue will be revisited at the conference in Lithuania in September. Okay, colleagues, we're coming to the end of this evening's session. I want to thank everybody for their contribution this afternoon. We got, as I said, 18 questions in to the High Representative. I know there are about 10 or 12 more people who wanted to get in, but those questions you can resubmit them tomorrow for the Deputy Foreign Minister, or Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Eamon Gilmore, at tomorrow's session. So we now proceed at about 7 p.m. So within 30 minutes, we will proceed to the Royal Hospital in Kilmainham for our gala banquet, which will be hosted by the President of the Irish Parliament, Sean Barrett, Member of Parliament, the Ceann Comhairle, as we call him. So we look forward to meeting you all in maybe a less informal session where we can all have a chat, informal chat about each other's parliamentary activities. So if you move outside, the buses will be waiting in about 30 minutes to take you promptly to the Royal Hospital in Kilmainham. Again, thank you very much, and we look forward to see you in the morning. Actually, I'm informed now, before you leave, I'm informed the buses will be here in 5 minutes or so, so we're going a little bit earlier, so you can whet your appetite at the Royal Hospital in Kilmainham. Thank you very much.